The biggest common point among these companies is this: none of the companies we are going to talk about even existed 20 years ago. Today, all of them have valuations worth billions of dollars. Here is the story of how 5 startup companies changed the world. You will especially be very surprised by the 3rd place on the list. Enjoy. At number 5 on the list is Uber. Founded in 2008, Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp, on a cold winter day in Paris, were unable to find a taxi even though they had an urgent job to attend to. Camp had previously been involved in entrepreneurial ventures and had sold his last company for $75 million. Kalanick also had business experience. The biggest problem for both of them was transportation. It was quite difficult to find a taxi. Camp started to feel that he had to find a solution to this problem. Then an idea came to his mind and he said, "What if you could call a car from your phone and it arrived instantly?" Both of them liked this idea very much. On March 1st, 2009, they launched Uber Cab in San Francisco with 3 cars and an iPhone application. The first version was considered relatively expensive. At the time, it was classified by society as a luxury car service, costing about 1.5 times the price of a normal taxi. 1 year later, Uber made an incredible move. The idea was simple. They introduced UberX, which made it legal for ordinary people to use their own cars commercially and earn money. This move was one of the brightest ideas of the recent period. Supply became extremely high. Prices dropped instantly. The project became premium in terms of quality and accessible to everyone financially. It was an idea that would change the global taxi system, and it was banned in many countries. Traditional taxi companies were very uncomfortable with the situation. Uber kept growing despite the backlash. For a while, things continued in an uncertain state. By 2017, the company was operating in 70 countries and had surpassed a valuation of $70 billion. Uber went public in 2019 with a valuation of $82 billion. In 2024 alone, Uber completed approximately 11 billion trips worldwide. It was born as a simple idea with high potential, and that is the story of Uber. At number 4 on the list is Airbnb. Founded in 2007, Brian Chesky had recently moved to San Francisco at the time and was struggling to pay rent. His roommate, Joe Gebbia, was also unhappy with the situation. A simple idea came to their minds, and the journey began. That week, a design conference was coming to the city, and all hotel rooms were both expensive and fully booked. With their last remaining money, they bought 3 air mattresses, placed them in their living room, and rented the space to conference attendees for $80 per night. 3 guests came. Chesky and Gebbia prepared breakfast for them. No one knew it yet, but this would go down in history as the first Airbnb. At first, they named the idea Air, Bed, and Breakfast. In 2008, to build the technical infrastructure, they brought in a 3rd co-founder, Nathan Blackerchick. The company was rejected by all investors they applied to. They had to find at least a small amount of capital. In 2008, they produced a limited edition cereal box themed around the presidential election. They sold each box for $40 and managed to raise enough money to continue. Y Combinator accepted them in 2009, and they received $20,000 as their first investment. This was a turning point for them. Even with this small amount, the platform grew rapidly. By 2011, Airbnb had reached over 1 million nights booked and was operating in 89 countries. In December 2020, the now massive Airbnb went public. In 2024, Airbnb generated a total revenue of $11.1 billion and recorded 491 million nights booked. It currently has over 8 million listings in more than 220 countries. A company that started with 3 air mattresses now owns 44% of the global short-term rental market. Its common point with Uber is solving a simple problem with high potential. At number 3 on the list is Spotify, founded in 2006. Daniel Ek was 23 years old at the time. He grew up in Stockholm, Sweden. The shutdown of Napster in 2001 deeply affected him. He kept thinking about the problem of music piracy. At that time, millions of people were downloading music illegally through unauthorized platforms. The music industry could not fight this effectively. Daniel believed the solution approach was wrong. According to him, the argument was simple. You cannot stop people from piracy. The only solution to this problem is to create a legal product that is better than the illegal one. He trusted this idea and founded Spotify in 2006 with Martin Lorentzen. Before launch, it took nearly 2 years to negotiate licensing deals with major record labels. This process was so difficult that most people would have given up. No one was convinced by the idea. Spotify was launched in Europe in October 2008. It offered free, unlimited music streaming supported by ads with a paid subscription option for those who wanted to remove ads. The music industry initially struggled to adapt to this idea. Spotify only became profitable for the first time in 2024. Their story shows that success comes from not giving up. Today, Spotify has over 250 million paid subscribers and more than 700 million monthly active users worldwide. It hosts over 100 million songs and 7 million podcasts. In 2024, the company paid a record $11 billion in royalties to the music industry. At number 2 on the list is Stripe. Founded in 2010, Patrick Collison was 21 years old at the time, and his brother John was 19. Their education backgrounds were actually quite strong. Patrick left MIT and John left Harvard to work on an idea that seemed too ordinary to ever become a billion-dollar company. What they had in common was that they never left a problem unsolved. Online payments at the time were messy. Setting up a payment system for a website meant weeks of paperwork and technical integration. The Collison brothers believed they could solve this problem with a very simple solution. They founded Stripe. For those who don't know, it is an API that allows developers to add a working payment system to their website with just a few lines of code. The idea solved a painful problem in a simple way, which attracted a lot of attention. In 2011, the company reached a valuation of $95 billion, becoming the most valuable private startup in the United States. In 2024, businesses using Stripe processed $1.4 trillion in payments. From a small village in the Tipperary region of Ireland, 2 brothers solved a core infrastructure problem of the global internet economy. At the top of the list is Canva, founded in 2013. Melanie Perkins was 19 years old at the time. She was very interested in design. She taught her university friends how to use design software. Design was very complicated at the time. Learning it took a long time because of its complexity. According to Perkins, design could be simple, visual, and accessible to everyone. She started working on this idea in her mother's living room in Perth, Australia. The first version was a school yearbook platform called Fusion Books. It received a lot of attention, but Perkins believed she would build something much bigger. For years, she pitched to investors and was rejected hundreds of times. At this point, I want to say something. The common point in all success stories is persistence. Canva fought its own battles and was publicly launched in 2013. In its first year, it reached 750,000 users. The product was basically free with a paid version for advanced features. It spread through word of mouth faster than almost any other software product of its generation. By 2018, Canva was only a 5-year-old idea. In such a short time, it reached a $1 billion valuation, making Perkins one of the youngest female entrepreneurs to build a unicorn company. By 2024, Canva had reached over 185 million active users in 180 countries and generated $2.7 billion in annual revenue. The company has been profitable since 2017. Staying profitable from the very beginning is what places it at the top of this list. I have talked about 5 massive startups. All of them are solutions to 5 small problems that people once considered permanent. The logic is always the same. Find a broken system, simplify it, and scale it globally. This formula does not guarantee success, but every company on this list became massive this way. We have reached the end of the video. If you want more stories like this, like the video and subscribe. Thank you.